Hello. Today I'm here with a very special guest. We have Shannan.
Hello.
I'm doing this podcast because you're running for a role for the uni, aren't you? Yeah.
Yes, I'm running for 2 roles for the uni.
2 roles?
2 roles.
Okay. And what are those roles?
I am running for VPAB, which stands for Vice President of Achievement and Belonging, and I'm also running for President.
President?
Yes.
Dang, okay. Give me a little outline for what those roles are for the people who don't know.
Yeah, of course. So President is basically what it says on the tin. You work with the uni and all the different departments to basically run the union and expand on the elements of the uni that need some extra attention. You also are in charge of those very important high-level talks with people who are like trustees and chancellors and things like that. So you end up being quite a loud voice in a small space. And then VPAB, so Vice President of Achievement and Belonging, you're basically working with the president and the rest of your union team to ensure that every student has all the experiences that they should have during their time at uni, whether that's down to the societies and the clubs that they're in, or whether that's down to their course and how they feel part of something. Because BNU, we want people to belong, so we have these roles in place to ensure that any problems that do come up, we can be a friendly face to talk to, and I can waffle at you for free.
Oh, woo. Brilliant. Okay, so why are you running for these roles specifically?
So, people looked at me when I said I was running for both and were like, what the hell are you doing? And to that I say, why the hell not? I very much went for VPAB, going into this went for VPAB. But I think a lot of the time, women are afraid to go for those bigger roles because you assume that it's not your place. I mean, of course, we've got Amy as the president now, and it's definitely not an issue within BNU, but I think it's an institutionalised thing from us growing up where we don't want to take on those leadership roles because you're afraid of being seen as aggressive. And as I came from a different uni completely, doing my undergrad and then spent time in the real world, as I call it, the big scary adult world, I learned very quickly that my voice will get diminished if I let it. So I said no, and I kicked the door down, and here I am. But president, although I'd thought about it for a long time, I'd gone to the SU and they said you'd be stupid not to. Oh. So here I am,
here you are,
annoying you on every platform.
You might as well. But no, fair enough. That's really admirable for you to take that leap and try and make change for the uni.
Yeah, and I think if I looked back at my younger self, even my younger self to my undergraduate, so I applaud everyone who is an undergraduate going for these roles, because undergraduate me would have never done it. Not once, not 1 ounce of my soul, not 1 grain of rice on my plate would have wanted me to do this. So the fact that people who are 21, 22 are thinking, oh, I want to go and do this is crazy to me. But I think my younger self would be proud, and I try and live by that every day to make my younger self prouder each day that goes by.
Yeah, that's a really strong show of character, and I think it's really quite influential, especially to those undergraduates, because it's kind of like you're saying, look what you can do if you keep working hard and keep going at it. You can also apply for these roles and hopefully make it far, hopefully get the role, and hopefully make a big change in the uni. So yeah, that's great.
And not to say that I'm making this up as I go along, because I'm not. But also, I'm the youngest in my family to start off with, and I'm the first one to go to uni. So the minute uni happened, I was like, where do I go? So every single step that I've taken in my future, in my career, my decision to come back to uni after 2.5 years out has all been off of my own back. There's been no guideline to this sort of thing, which, if I was in a job interview, would say makes me an adaptable human being who can cope with chaos. But since we're not in a job interview, I think it just gives me such a wider perspective in terms of what everyday life looks like both in and out of uni, and what is helpful and what isn't. Because my undergrad, coming from a different uni, seeing a different SU and how they operate, I didn't feel like I had that support going into graduate life. And I think if I had that support, I wouldn't have worked in sales for 2 years. But we can get into that a little bit later. Tea.
No, I mean, let's just jump into it now. Why not?
Okay.
So let's talk about... Okay.
If you insist.
If you insist. Let's talk about your work and, like, outside of uni, what kind of, like, person you are, how you carry yourself, like, I guess just, you know, what are you like, how do you operate, sort of thing.
So we'd had a conversation off camera about the fact that I work 5 jobs.
5 jobs?
5 jobs, whilst I'm doing my master's in forensic psychology.
Now, how do you do that?
Time management is a real strong suit of mine. See, I just jump into...
No, that is time management.
I just jump into job interview status at all times. But I've always been a bit hyperactive, undiagnosed ADHD as a child.
Yes.
But when I did my undergrad, I worked 3 jobs, and that was in 3rd year of my undergrad, and I was the president of the dance society at the time. So I'm used to keeping my plate full, and I think I thrive better when I have less time to focus on just one thing.
Right.
Which is why I've gone for a role such as being on the SU, because you have to deal with so many different challenges every single day. And I've found that my ADHD thrives in that environment, because I see chaos. Like, people would look at fire and be like, oh, that's chaos. I'd be like looking through it and seeing what happened, sort of thing. It's my metaphor for it all. I'm very much of the opinion that, like, if I can fit it in, I'll fit it in. Like, I might work 5 jobs, but I also volunteer for 4 charity organisations.
Right.
So volunteering I've done since really young. So it's kind of always just been integrated within me and my self. So I suppose carrying myself, I've always kind of had to be that front-facing person anyway.
Yeah.
Because I've always had to throw myself in the deep end to lots of different things. But since September, I love the volunteering thing, by the way, because I feel like I'm achieving something rather than
yeah, that's a good way to see it.
Volunteering.
Yeah.
As much as I love the volunteering, I'm a bit autistic as well, so I like to see the numbers. So
number goes up, you're like, oh yes,
yeah, I'm like,
we could go higher though.
It was worth something. So I've done nearly 300 hours since September.
Wow.
Alongside my 5 jobs, because it was really important to me.
Yeah, fair enough.
All of the organisations I volunteer for are all completely different. Only one of them is working with children, but all of my jobs, apart from one as well, include working with children. So my therapist says it's part of the healing process to work with children, to find your inner child.
Okay.
But I used to hate kids, so...
Oh.
Now they're all right, actually.
How do you get over that? Because I'm kind of still, I'm still at that.
How does one get over hating children? Sometimes they're actually quite funny. I tend to think of it as a little bit of a practice for my future comedy stardom.
Right, okay.
Stand-up routine. If one of them's being difficult, you're just like, are you allergic to your chair? Think not. Sit in it then. Like, you just throw these one-liners and you see what sticks. And I think you have to have a specific type of aura to work with children. And I think a lot of the people on the neurodivergent spectrum end up working with kids because they vibe with them. Because kids are so open and honest.
Yeah.
And like, you feel like you can be your open and honest, unmasked self. Whereas when I was in the professional world, I was like, oh, you have to be a normal person today, Shannan. And that would just go on and on and on in my brain.
Right.
Whereas now I'll say some wild things to some kids and they'll just be like, way! And we all have a good time.
It's great to be unapologetically yourself, of course, because in the roles you're going for, it's great if you can... you know, put your fists down and try and get things done for people. But if you're not going to be approachable, then people aren't going to want to try and vouch for you because it just seems like they can't come for you for anything.
Yeah. And boy, did I get a lot of death stares at graduation in Swansea. Because when I was a student rep, I would not let them get away with anything. They misspelled something in an email, it was canon. In my opinion. I couldn't care less. I had one experience where, because I did my undergrad during COVID, and they said our online exam would be 4.5 hours long. 2 days before the exam, they go, oh, sorry, there was an error It's actually meant to be 2 hours long. I went, oh, honey, no, it's not. It's 4.5 hours. And I had 3 meetings and I argued my way back to 4.5 hours.
Dang.
Their excuse was English isn't her first language. And my argument was, why is she writing an email to 200 students? Why did no one read proofreading, people?
Yeah.
Chat GBT if you need to.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't let them get away with anything. So when I walked across that stage, I strided. I went. And I was like, hey. Nice to see you.
Thank you for the 4.5 hours.
Thank you. It really helped. I got extra time anyway, so I don't know what I'm on about. I was just there like, yeah, sure.
For the people.
For the people.
Yeah.
For everyone who doesn't get extra time. Who doesn't have the procrastination like I do. I was like, absolutely not, honey. 2 hours is not enough time.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, I'd have nearly 3. But, yeah. So I'm used to fighting for pretty much everything I've ever done, ever. Even like in life, I've had to fight for every single thing. The positions that I'm in, the jobs that I get. Like, there's not been one part of my life that's been handed to me. And that's why it's completely opposite for me to go for a role like this, because it's the expectation of other people believing in you. And I think people get that insecurity that stops really good people from being on roles, because they have all these ideas, but they don't think people will vote for them, so then they don't do it. And as I said, old me would have not done it. New me's gone for 2 roles. So
Yeah.
thanks, Helen. Therapist shout out. If
Yes.
anyone needs great therapy for self-confidence.
Yes.
I'll earn commission on it, but you know, between me and Helen, so that's fine.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, let's dive into your campaign a bit more, because obviously, we're starting to campaign now. Time to get stuck into it. What's the favourite thing you've done so far in your campaign?
I think for me, and this is an exclusive to the BNU podcast, is I wanted my campaign to mean more than just me winning something. My team will work and have worked so hard to support me in any which way, or shape or form. And I've been so grateful for even the fact that they've texted me back. Like, the bar's on the floor, guys. But I wanted more out of this campaign. I didn't want the winning or the losing to dictate if it was successful or not. So for me, what we've done is I've collaborated with Student Minds on my campaign, and we're doing a bake sale throughout the campaign across all campuses to raise money for Student Minds. Right. So they've been really great. I know people. I've been talking to them a lot about this campaign and just kind of make it more of a movement towards helping other people, because that's really what fills my cup as a person, and what I want my role or my time in the SU to stand for is helping other people, because start as you mean to go on, isn't it? And Student Minds does some great work, especially with the student population. And I think it's important to recognise that not everyone has the ballsy personality like I do. I'm going to keep eyeing the camera. Not everyone has the ballsy personality to throw themselves out there. And I've learnt this through basically force.
Right.
But I'm aware that not everyone is in the same position. So Student Minds works with people to help them advocate for themselves. And I really wanted that to be the main focus of the campaign. Like, yeah, also vote for me.
Of course.
But like, buy a cake, because I'm a really good chef.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
We've got mini egg fudge.
Oh,
yeah.
Mini egg fudge.
Brownies. Okay. It's all kicking off. My expenses to the SU is just all going to be ingredients. What did you do for your campaign? I just baked, honey. Just baked. But that's going to be the same across Aylesbury, Uxbridge and High Wycombe.
Oh.
Because as part of one of my campaign manifesto points, is I don't want to just say, oh, all the campuses should be equal. And then, see you in September. See you in Jan. See you in, I don't know when the next time is that I would be going there, but yeah, sure. Pop off. Like, I wanted tangible, actionable points that make us feel more united. Because we could open campuses all across the country. But if they don't feel like the same uni, they're not the same uni, as far as I'm concerned. I have the same issue with, there's a lot of unis up and down the country at the moment that are opening, say they've got one in Wales and they're opening another in London or something like that. And it's like, that's all great, stunning. Love that for you. But one, you're not investing the materials where you should be. And two, I'm not going to get to do anything if there's a campus in Swansea and a campus in London. Those people are never going to meet, they're never going to collab, they're never going to be part of the same conversation, and then you're just going to be fractured.
Yeah.
So, starting as I mean to go on, every bit of my campaign will be reflected on Aylesbury and Uxbridge campus.
Okay.
I mean, I obviously won't be there at all times, because I'll be somewhere else.
Yeah, you're one person, you can't be everywhere at once.
Yeah.
Are you? Right?
I try. I do have a twin, but I try to be one person.
Oh, you have a twin?
Yeah.
Oh.
Random fun fact. I do have a twin. But I also will give everything to make sure that people can trust the fact that I'm going to go back. I drive. If I'm not going there, it's because I'm fucking lazy. Like, that's just it.
That's real.
Full stop.
That's real.
Sometimes I might need a lie-in. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's me every day.
Yeah.
My lecturers hate me.
Sometimes I wake up and I go, no, thank you. And I go back to sleep. Like, it is what it is. And I've learned to deal with where my passions lie. And if I'm passionate about something, I'm jumping out of bed. I'm off. My port door probably didn't get locked on the way out.
In too much of a rush. Got stuff to do.
Got stuff to do, got places to be. Like, all of the stuff that I do outside of work, I don't do it because of the pay, because, honey, I'm poor. But I do it because I like it and I love it and I see the benefit of it. And I think that's really important, to understand fully the role that you're going into. And not only that, don't just go, oh, I want to see how popular I am, so I'm going to see how many votes I can get. Really digest the fact that you're going to be in this role, you're going to be speaking to higher ups, you're going to have challenging conversations with people, you're going to have to tell people no. Get in a line. If you want me to tell you no, I'll do it. Yeah. But people don't really digest the fact that there is an actual role at the end of this, and that there's actual changes that they want to be made. And at the end of the day, it's the uni students that suffer if you're spending the first 3 months of your time in the role trying to figure shit out. Like, of course there's learning.
Yeah.
But if I'm spending 3 weeks writing an essay for a research paper because I wasn't sure how to do it before, me in my head, I'm finding out how to do it before. Luckily for me, because of my previous experience outside of uni, I already know how to do it, because I've already had those conversations. I've already been in those higher up talks with larger people. And I very much see a person as a person. You treat me with respect, I treat you with respect. Yeah. And it's the same conversation I have with the kids. You teach me respect, I'll teach you respect. And we meet on a mutual level. Because at the end of the day, I'll give you as much respect as you give me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you have a problem with me, fine. I'm an adult. My fully developed frontal lobe is not going to be crumbling. Not the fully developed frontal lobe. Yeah, it's not going to be crumbling. I'm so sorry. I will still sleep at night. I have an autoimmune disease. I'll be asleep. So, if you do have a problem with me, babe, just come talk about it. It's fine. It is absolutely fine. I've had so many conversations, especially in this past year, where people have been like, I don't like that you do that. Okay. Yeah. Stunning. Thank you so much for your honesty. Same with the... I have so much therapy to the point where it's probably chronic. Chronic self-improvement. So I basically go in with a list of everything everyone's always said that I do wrong. But that's because I hyperfixate from ADHD and I mask because of autism. And I understand how those parts navigate. I understand how I can utilise them to benefit me in the role. I understand where my limitations are. And because I'm on a self-improvement journey, I work on them. Nice. So, Helen, bless her, she's working overtime. But we love her. Big up. Yeah. Big up Helen. Big up Helen. But I think bringing it back to the whole campaigning, I wanted it to be a thing in itself, because at the end of the day, the campaign and the role are two very separate things. I know I can do that role well. It's my job to convince you all that I can. Hashtag save Shannan from her 5 jobs.
Please.
Because
why is she working 5 jobs? Why are you working 5 jobs? Other than the fact you love it. Because that couldn't be me.
Money. No, I'm joking. So I kind of stumbled into it. When I left sales, I was a bit like, oh, what do I do? I left sales on the Friday, and on the Tuesday I applied to do a master's. So when I say I am impulsive.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I went, Shannan, you're going to need money between now and September. So I had, when I worked in sales, I had 2 jobs at the time.
Right.
So I'd work 8 till 6 in sales and then work 6:30 till 8:30 as a mental health nurse.
Oh.
So I carried that on full time.
I see.
And then picked up other jobs around it, which meant that I could drop that out. Not that I didn't love it, because I saw a lot of reward in the mental health nursing industry, but I needed a break, and I was very aware that I was burning out, basically.
Right.
So I needed to find jobs that recharged me. And working with kids, although it can be tough at times, does recharge me.
Okay.
Like,
fair enough.
Even today, the class I went to today, love those kids. They're just amazing. I could literally just, if they're annoying me, I'll just press play on the song, because I'm a dance teacher. I just press play on the song and start going, and they'll just snap into it like it was nothing.
Fair enough.
Because we have that mutual respect. And going back to the point I said before, I give as much respect to them as they do to me. So if they're little shits, you best believe I'm side-eyeing. Are you joking? I'm like, ugh, that's embarrassing, mate. Like, get a grip. Like, I do that all the time. Right. Unless you're my manager, and then I don't. No, it's fine. But I think that's where the communication is. And I think in a role such as this, you have to be good at communicating.
Yeah,
I understand what my audience looks like. I'm not going into a classroom full of 4-year-olds and going, anti-disestablishmentarianism, tell me about it. Like... They're not going to know what that means.
You've got a point.
No. In the same way, when I teach adult classes, I'm not going to be like, okay, guys, so I want you to clap and then take a step with your left foot.
You're annoying me now. I'm turning on the music.
Yeah.
Let's start.
I'm just turning, don't move. I'm just turning on the music. Because, like, what's the point? What a waste of oxygen.
Yeah, exactly. Right, let's bring it home. Let's go back to your manifesto. Let's establish what are like the key things that you want improving overall if you were to get one of the roles you're going for.
Yeah, of course. So I used my experience from my time in the SU in my previous uni and the SU here to see what worked and what didn't, basically. I wanted tangible points that people could hold me accountable as much as I can hold myself. As much as everyone should advocate for mental health, you could shout mental health out the window and you've ticked the box for advocating for mental health. Yeah. You have to be more specific about these certain things. So off the basis of that, one of my main points being mental health is more about the fact that we have so many resources here. We don't have access to them. There's a disconnect in communication between the team and the people that need the help.
Okay.
And I've been in a very dark place before. And when I've been in said very dark place, the last thing I'm doing is writing a fucking email.
No, fair enough.
It's just not happening.
It's not happening.
Like, you'll be lucky if I'm awake that day. Like, I'm not writing an email asking for help. Like, people find so much shame. I want that conversation to be open so people feel more confident. Quiet spaces around unis. Everyone's kind of touched here and there on quiet spaces. But for me, the important thing is they're not just rooms with chairs in them that someone said can be your safe space. I want them to be comfortable. I want them to be inviting. I want them to be open all the time. I want them to be on all campuses. I want, like, there's very simple fixes. I know businesses in Wickham that will happily provide us with the kit that we need to fill in those spaces. I can have conversations with people who are neurodivergent across the entire spectrum and know what they want. What is it that they want in that space that isn't just a room that I can get into without a fob? Yay. And in the same when we have like big events at the uni, I want them to be open to everyone. Yeah. Have a quiet space at the event, like Varsity, for example.
Yeah.
I know as hell I am not spending the whole day at varsity without a recharge space. That is not happening.
That's
Even if my
valid.
recharge space is face first in the grass with headphones on, it will have to happen at some point in the day, because my social battery will just go.
Fair.
And I think a lot of people are in that headspace, and even if it's just 15 minutes in a tent with beanbags in it, people are going to have them in, zen out,
Yeah.
recharge, scroll on their phone with no judgment, and then carry on with the rest of their day.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important, to be able to have that space, whether you're neurodivergent or not, mental health issues or not. People have social batteries, and sometimes they need recharging.
Yeah.
Yeah, so mental health through quiet spaces and more direct communication with those that need the help. My other manifesto point is about the kind of interchangeability around campuses, making sure that everyone feels as one community. The way I would do that is appoint reps for each society and club. So whether that's a sport or musical theatre, for example, it's people on those campuses who are interested in doing what we're doing over here. It
Right.
won't just be like, you walk through the front door, so now you are the MT rep. Like, we want people who want to engage on what goes on in this campus. And through that, there's a direct line of communication between Uxbridge here, Aylesbury here, so we can facilitate things like the workshops consistently throughout the year, not just once or twice. Oh, we've gone to Aylesbury this term. Why are you bothering me about it again? No, like, I want it to be a consistent
Yeah.
flow, a consistent calendar where people can look forward to things, and not just, I have to be here or you won't see me till July.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Okay.
I'm also vouching for equality across societies and clubs, because as someone who came from an ex-society being the president, I know how many battles you have to fight just to be heard in the same way as a sport does. And vice versa, sport, sometimes you're trying to get resources for certain things that go to societies and you can't get heard either. So things around Varsity Week, there's a society showcase I want to set up. All ran past the SU already. Something they've been looking to do for years. They don't know how to action it. But I would be the one to go in and action it, making sure that the societies have something to work for that isn't just Freshers' Fair or Refreshers' Fair. Because I give my email out to so many people during Freshers and Refreshers' Fair. I'm over ambitious. I've been to I'm part of dance, I'm part of MT. I've signed up for badminton. Signed up for tennis. Have I been? No. Because then you feel like you've gone into a place where, oh, well, I put my email in September, it's now November, I can't go anymore.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have more of those open events and showcases throughout the year, like the Society Showcase that will be at Varsity Manifest, Society Showcase, you're giving people purpose in what they're doing. Like, passion can only get you so far.
Yeah.
And you lose passion very quickly if you can't find anything tangible to hold on to. So even like the Mixed Arts Society and stuff like that, I want them to have a moment where they can be like, yeah, let me show off everything that I know. I want there to be talks and panel talks from the LGBTQ society and things like that. I want MT to have a moment. It shouldn't all just be about the sports. As much as I do love the sports, we love you sports.
Yeah, we love sports.
We love sports.
Yes, big up.
It shouldn't all just be about the sports, because there's so much talent that is just swept under the rug because we don't throw a rugby ball down a pitch. And then making sure that those clubs, those sports clubs, actually enjoy the process of varsity, especially on committees. The stress of being on a committee, my God, I want more rewards for that, like more accreditations. You're learning skills, yeah, stunning.
Yeah, but that's about it.
Enthusiastic on CV. That was worth a year of my time. No, we want more accreditations that make it more worthwhile. There's only so many times you can see your team smile before it's like, yeah, this was great and it was worth it, but also very stressful.
Yeah.
And I think that stress should be rewarded with something more tangible and more actionable that they can take forward, rather than having to then fight a further battle as a career and go, well, I was president once of this society. Hint, they do care, but only about the skills part.
Yeah.
Not about the entire like detail of the society, because I learnt that the hard way.
Oh, I see.
My manager was like, yeah,
Really?
yeah, really stunning.
Oh my god. Let me take that off my CV.
I think it's worth putting on your CV, don't get me wrong. I just want more for people who are doing it.
Yeah.
There's
more
so much
reward.
hard work.
Mm.
And volunteering hours are great, stunning. I've still not collected my free bag of merch for 30 hours. I'm nearly on 300. I've still not collected it.
I mean, if you don't want it, then,
I'm busy.
I'll get it for you. Will you get it back? We'll see. Find me if you can.
No, me and Kelly are like this, honestly, because I set up charities to go through the SU so other people can get volunteering. I've done that all year.
I see.
She was like, who is this bitch? Like, she just turned up and suddenly got 300 hours. Like, that's how we met, basically. But I'm the same with jobs. I will communicate with people. If I see that there's talent, say, like, as I said, I'm a dance teacher. If I see there's talent, I will try my damn hardest to get them on my team to teach.
Mm.
And I want to do that same thing, but within the role. I want it to be a more tangible experience for people that isn't just, oh, I did this that one time.
Yeah.
And it was very stressful and I'd rather forget about it.
Right. Yeah.
Because when I was at undergrad, that's how it felt.
Oh, no.
But I think it taught me a lot of things. And I certainly wasn't jumping at the bit to go back on a committee when I came here for my master's.
Mm.
But there's also a lot that I miss doing about it.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Making sure that committees on both sports and societies feel that they can achieve more in their role that benefits them rather than everybody else and kills them off slowly.
Right. Yeah.
Because they'll be so busy, they're like, oh, I have not eaten dinner in 3 days. My fourth campaign point is to ensure that career support happens from day one. When I was graduating from my undergrad, I had absolutely sweet FA help from the uni at all. And everyone looked around me because I got my job in May and I graduated in June and I started my job 2 weeks later. They're like, oh, she's successful. We'll leave her to it. No.
Oh.
Bitch took the first job that gave her an offer. Like, someone needs to be more involved to support students that isn't just in the third year. Because if I'd started from year one and not just gone, oh, I'm doing psychology, so that means I've got another 8 years of education, so let's work in a bartle then, I wouldn't have burnt myself out trying to sort this, that and the other out and then gone into sales for 2 years. Because, as I said earlier, I'm the first person in my family to do this. I am creating the pathway for the rest of my family to follow.
Yeah.
So there are mistakes and there are things that change and move around, and sales was one of those mistakes. But I learned a lot from that time, and your body tells you a lot. Like the anxious sweats and the panic attacks tell you a lot. If you're having anxious sweats and panic attacks at jobs, quit. Money is elsewhere.
I gotta quit.
Just leave. Just get out. Just up and leave. But because when I first graduated uni, I didn't have that support at all. I just thought, oh, I'm here now. I've not really thought about the job at all. But it pays money. I'm not doing this job for the money. I was on 32k when I graduated. Straight out the gates, 32k with commission on top of that.
Oh, wow.
I've been getting poorer since.
Yeah, was the government like, oh, look at that. 32k. Ooh.
HMRC love me. I am their best friend. But I very quickly learned that money is not everything. It really isn't. I grew up in a family watching my mother struggle day to day to earn money, and she's miserable the entire time. I don't want that. She's miserable and has no money. Like, at least
pick a struggle.
Yeah, pick a struggle. Honestly, mother, you just got to pick a struggle and decide. But I'm happy and I have no money. And as a fellow depressed, anxious human being, that's already massive. You don't earn that from being told when you're in third year to do a workshop about employability. You don't get taught that. Even if it's something as simple as LinkedIn, day one, arrive at uni, open it up, make an account. We weren't taught that till third year. And I worked in sales, so you had to add everyone and their mum on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Cold calling, I've been told to fuck off many a time. I'm like, yeah, same. I'd fuck off from me if I could. But I'm here now, so you may as well listen. And I think having that more guidance from day one, you're making decisions in second year rather than under pressure and under stress in third year, where you'll just take anything because you're like, what am I going to do after I graduate? The internal panic. And I mean, some of you guys out there definitely know what you want to do with your lives, and congrats. Not bitter at all.
Yeah, the same.
Congrats. Love that for you. But most people couldn't be us.
Yeah.
Most people don't know what they want to do.
Mm.
And not that I'm procrastinating the real world again, because it is big and scary and I don't like it. But also, I have experience that none of the other candidates going for my role have.
Mm.
I'm 25. That fully developed frontal lobe,
Yeah,
she's popping off.
It's going in overdrive right now.
She's going.
Yes.
Like, I don't deal with the bullshit. I just carry on. Just keep swimming, as we learnt from Finding Nemo.
Yeah. As the scriptures foretold.
Got an APA reference, Finding Nemo, 2004, or whenever it was made. I don't know. But I've had experience that someone who's come from undergraduate is not going to have. No matter how many friends that they have, no matter how many policies that they write, if they don't know how to implement them, they're not going to happen.
Mm.
I ran past all of my policies through the SU before I put any of them on my manifesto. Because at the end of the day, they're the barrier between the change I want to make and what will happen.
Mm.
And I said, is this realistic? Give me a timeline. How long would this take me to do? And it could all be done within a year. Because I took that extra step to think, oh, this idea might be a bit stupid. Got reassurance for it. This idea might be great. Got told to fuck off. But everything on my manifesto is tangible. Everything on my manifesto can happen and will happen when, manifest, I get elected into a role.
Mm.
There's a reason I'm going for 2. It's not because I want to just do anything. It's because I know that it's worth me being on that team. I don't care what role I'm in.
Mm.
Like, I will be humble regardless. Not that you can tell from this podcast, but I will be humble regardless, because I know that the changes I want to make can be done in either role.
Mm.
And you best believe I'll be the loudest at that table.
Yes.
Every higher up is going to be scared of me. I'm coming.
As they should be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Holding people accountable is like my main thing, because too much waffle happens in this place. Coming from Queen of Waffle herself. But if I say I'm going to do something, it will happen. Because I am determined to make it happen. And the thing that me and my therapist Helen, shout out, again. You're just shouting out Helen this entire time. Is Helen running for SU or is it me? But the thing we say every single time, I walk through that front door and she goes, who have you told to fuck off this week?
Oh, she clocked you too.
Yeah.
Damn.
Because she knows that, like, that's the only way that I'm not going to just put up with bullshit again and again and again. And I've said this to every single person that will listen to me. If I don't do it, who the fuck else is?
That's true.
Something as small as making your bed in the morning. I live alone. Who the fuck else is going to do that? I don't think so. The fairies. I've tried. They don't.
They're not answering.
They're not answering. I've knocked. I've paid them off. They're not.
Oh.
Not here. Something as small as that, or a career change. If you're unhappy in your job, you're the only fucker that's going to be able to change it. And I do apologise, BNU podcast, because you are going to have to meet me at some point. Because I will just, when I get passionate, I just swear.
It's fine. Is it fine? It's fine.
Just mute.
Yeah.
Half of them. But who the fuck else is going to do it? Simple as that. And everyone who I'm competing against for this role, they're all stunning, amazing people. And I commend them so much for being able to put themselves out there in the same way that I have, because it takes a lot of guts. It takes so much. I'm coming from a position where I've done a master's, I've been here 4 months, no one knows me. Unless you watch the podcast, then you know probably too much. But no one knows me. I know I'm fighting a losing battle, but I have the passion to keep going regardless, because I know that when I'm in this role, it will be worth voting for me, because I will make it worth voting for me. And it makes me feel better as a person by making other people feel better. Hence why I was training to be a psychologist. In a roundabout way. And still am training to be a psychologist, but
Nice.
I've always had that drive to make changes for other people. If there's something going wrong in my life, you best believe it's staying there. If you came to me with a problem, I'd be like, we ride at dawn. Let's go.
We're going now.
Let's go. Like, even as something as simple as, oh, I'm a bit anxious to go and speak to this person. I'm dragging your ass. Let's go. Like, come on. Like, because I would much rather make sure that everybody else is happy than my own. And that is my toxic trait. Congrats,
Real.
you've unlocked it.
Yeah. We figured it out. Yes.
Woo!
Finally.
Turn into therapy. But, you know.
Helen, we don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
We found the BNU podcast.
Yeah. Saving me 50 quid a week. But I think everyone needs an advocate on their side. And it's all well and good people putting in fluff and saying, I want this. I want us all to be like happy and skipping in a field and holding flowers and all that rubbish. But like, as you can probably tell, I'm quite passionate. I talk a lot. I get shit done. If I don't like something, I will sort it out. If I don't like a person, I'll just walk away.
Yeah. A lot of people need to do that.
Just walk away.
Just walk away.
If I don't like a person and they're between me and getting what I want, you best believe I will badger them until I get it. I will put my own feelings aside to make sure that other people are happy. My toxic trait, we're working on it. Big up Helen. But
I mean, in this instance, it's good though.
Yeah.
We like that toxic trait in this scenario.
I think people need someone on the team who is motivated by that drive, because every single morning I will wake up and be like, who am I fighting today? Not fighting. Wrong word. God, if you listen to this on an audio medium, you're missing out, because I am
Yeah.
I am pulling some facial expressions, so
You're not getting the full experience.
watch it twice. But I think a lot of the time people go into this role for their pride, and I couldn't really care less about my pride. I embarrass myself on a daily basis for a living to make other people feel comfortable. If there's someone in my dance class and they don't want to do a dance move because that makes them feel awkward and weird, you best believe I'm twerking. I'm worming on the floor, I'm like chest pumping, whatever, anything to make them laugh, make them feel comfortable, make them feel settled. I do the same in a room with conversations. If someone's feeling awkward and uncomfortable, I will do everything in my power to, one, understand why, and two, make sure that they don't feel that way. I try and make myself open. I try and make those conversations happen. And if you are watching this, you might feel the sudden urge to tell me your entire life story. Don't worry, everyone does. It's absolutely fine. And I will sit and I will listen. And I will try and offer support. I ask my friends, do you want the therapist answer or do you want the friend answer? Because they are two very different things. Going into the role, do you want me to do this? Or do you just feel like you need that to happen? Two very separate things. I've asked around. I've asked people what they want from the SU. I've not just gone, what do I want? I've been here 4 months. I'm not going to have all the answers. But what I will do is speak up for the quiet ones in the back who have the issues and need someone who doesn't shut the fuck up to go and vouch for them And that is me. That's
a great summary to end it off. Thank you for your time. Is there anything else you'd like to add, or?
Sorry. Sorry to the person behind the camera sitting on the floor. Feel free to invoice me for your chiropractic bill. The check might bounce, but that's fine. And I'm not even going to sit here and say vote for me, right? Because as much as I would love to be like, vote for me, if it's not true to you, and it's not true to what you stand for, and it's not true to who you want to see in the SU, don't vote for me. That's it. If you look at my manifesto and you go, actually, this bitch knows what she's talking about, then maybe slide me a vote. Do you know what I mean? Even if it's, say, you vote your favourite person first, vote me second. Treat me.
Yeah.
Be nice. Like, because I am running for both roles. If I get both roles, like, I won't do both. You're fine. Feel free to vote me for both. Like, the SU don't let you do two. You have to give up one. But I hope on this podcast I've shown that I'm not just a quiet blonde girl. I think I'm probably the opposite, apart from the blonde bit. And vote with policies in mind. Vote for your favourite policies, not your favourite people, because policies are what make changes. People complicate things.
Yeah.
And that is that. If it's me, great. If it's not me, also great. Good luck to everyone out there. Look after yourselves. If you don't look after your wellness, you'll be forced to look after your illness. I'm full of sayings, but I just want people to go into this election with honesty and vote for what really matters. If that's me, great. If it's not me, also great. Just vote for who you want to see make changes. Vote for the changes you want to see. And then I'll sleep at night. It's fine.
It's fine. All right, brilliant. All right. When is the voting open?
The voting opens March 3rd, midday, and it runs all the way till midday on the 7th. So Monday through Friday. You've got so many opportunities to vote for me. Online and in person. Make sure if you are going in person, you bring your student ID card, because otherwise you won't be able to vote. You can put them in order of who you want. If I'm your first option, great. If I'm your second, great. If I'm your third, don't bother. I'm joking.
Just don't show up.
Just don't show up. Just go ahead. But make sure you're voting who you want to see make change through March 3rd till March 7th. And if you forget, watch this podcast again and I'll remind you to vote at the end. And if not, come get a cake.
Yes.
Raise money for Student Minds.
Brilliant. When can we get the cakes?
Monday 3rd. Monday 3rd of March till Friday 7th. But cakes are limited, just like votes.
There you go.
You have to be quick.
Be quick. I'll be first in line personally. All right, brilliant. Thank you for joining us today, Shannan. It's been great.
Thank you for having me. I'm so sorry for whoever has to edit this.
No worries. All right, we'll catch you later.